launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Tuesday, November 30th, 2021. Let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. If you've been in this game long enough, at some point in your life you walked into a gym thinking you were strong. And all of a sudden you saw someone doing an insane amount of weight for reps, and then you realized that you didn't even know what strong was until that very moment. And I can guarantee you that there's someone out there right now watching this video of Sergio Oliva Jr. doing strict barbell rows with 315 for reps who's having one of those moments as I say this. Needless to say, the early part of the offseason seems to be going well for Sergio, which is always a good sign. So if this time around he can manage to stay healthy and keep himself locked in, I see him as a prime candidate to be one of the big bounce back stories at some point next season. Sometimes in life, when you take an L, it leaves you with two options. Option one is doubling down on your strengths, which I'm a big fan of, as most of you already know. And option two is doubling down on your weaknesses until they become a strength, which is a lot less popular and a lot less predictable. But I'll tell you what, the fact that Blessing Awodibu chose option two when he easily could have chose option one should tell you all you need to know about how committed he is to his career in bodybuilding. A few days ago, Blessing posted a video from one of the most recent training leg sessions where we got a first-hand look at what it means to double down on your weaknesses, because he's taking all the lessons he learned during his rookie campaign and channeling them into creating a new and improved version of himself that will be ready to hit the ground running next season. As far as I'm concerned, that's about as double down as it gets. And I know I'm not alone when I say that I'm curious to see what this next version of Blessing 2.0 looks like. Full disclosure here, I thought long and hard about how to come up with a catchy transition or some sort of insight metaphor to transition into this segment before I finally realized that I was overthinking it. We're showing a video of one of the greatest 212 athletes in the history of bodybuilding training one of his best body parts at the peak of his career. That feels good enough without trying to dress it up as anything else. I realize that Shaun Clarida is less than 4 weeks into his off season, but think about this for a second. In the modern era of bodybuilding, there has only ever been one athlete who qualified and competed in both the open and lightweight divisions at the Olympia level. It was David Henry, and he did it more than a decade ago. That was a completely different era, and for all intent and purposes, that makes what Shaun's historically done unprecedented. And if you're a person who literally rewrites the record books, you don't need fancy introductions. Your body of work speaks for itself. Even if you're not a history buff, at some point in your life you need to do some reading on Winston Churchill. He was one of the most influential leaders and thinkers in the modern era, and his quote, "History is written by the victors," is one of my favorites. And the reason I bring that up is because Flex Lewis wrote a long, heartfelt post on his Instagram a few days ago where he talked about writing his next chapter in his career, which got me to thinking about who it is that actually gets to write it. Because if he is healthy enough to make the move up to the Open next year, the only real way for him to have the final say on how that chapter is written is for him to win the Olympia, which is something that only 16 men in history have been able to do. And if he can't, I don't think it tarnishes his legacy in any way, but it does open up the door for someone else to be the one who decides what the ending looks like. So if he wants to be the one who writes the history books, then that leaves him with only one option, doesn't it? And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.